Arsenal comfortably brush aside Chelsea in the Premier League. Look, I'm not going to lie to people. Was this the most exciting game in the world to watch? You have to say no. This was just a game where one team is comfortably better than the other team. Now, there's been moments over the years where Arsenal have just had to concede that Chelsea are the better team. And in this game and in this moment, Chelsea are probably in the same position. They're just not as good as Arsenal. And the game played out that way. It was a 1-0 win. But it's not the game that caught my attention. It's Mikel Arteta's comments after the game that have stunned me. I want to get into it. Before I do, though, very quickly, if you could do me a favour, just hit like on this video. So we are going to get into Mikel Arteta's comments. I want to discuss them and get your guys' opinions on it. Before I do, though, I just want to ask, who was your man of the match from the Arsenal versus Chelsea game? I think there's maybe a couple of different suggestions floating around. But before I get into the video, just let me know, who was your Arsenal versus Chelsea man of the match? Look, this game was comfortable for Arsenal. That's the best way I can describe it. It wasn't exhilarating. It was kind of a team that, I don't know, lacked. They're toothless, Chelsea. Like, I was speaking to a friend of mine before the game and he said, I don't see Chelsea scoring many goals. We're very toothless at the moment. Our attack isn't very good. And, you know, from an Arsenal perspective, Arsenal's defence is so good that going into a game like this, I just feel so comfortable at the minute. You know, seasons gone by when you come into these big games and you're worried, how many goals are we going to concede? Are we going to give away a penalty? Like, you don't really have that stress anymore as an Arsenal fan, and it makes the viewing way more comfortable when you know, even if they do try and catch you on the break, like, you've got such a good defence there now that there's never really any jeopardy that they're going to score, because not only do you have a great keeper that we will speak about because he nearly did make a costly mistake, but the defence is just so strong that I never felt Chelsea was going to score. Now, it's a couple of good talking points from the game is obviously Arsenal scoring. Mikel Merino, a set-piece goal again. How long has it been since we've been able to rely on these set-piece goals? It's something we've definitely missed. I think it was 12 games since Arsenal last scored a set-piece, and we was kind of going through a run of games, I don't know, 12 games ago, where it was like almost every single corner Arsenal was scoring. It dried up, but Mikel Merino actually coming and producing the goods. Was it a brilliant goal? I mean, it was good. I think a lot of people are saying, the debate is, was it intentional versus was it intentional? I don't really care. The goal went in. It's kind of one of them moments where it's like, get under the ball, flick it with the back of your head, and it puts it into a dangerous area. It does either go in or it allows someone else to get on the end of it. So people saying, oh, it wasn't a goal, like he didn't mean to do that. Who cares? It's a goal. Arsenal go on to win the game 1-0. After that, like I said, David Raya nearly threw the ball in the back of his own net, which was, you know, kind of a flashback to the David Raya we saw early on when he first came in and he was battling with Ramsdale, and there were some nerves from Ramsdale, and then David Raya would go and goal, and there were some nerves from Raya, and it's just like, I don't know, we haven't had that kind of moment from David Raya in about a season. So, yeah, I'm glad it was just that one moment, because after that, he seemed solid. So, yeah, very, very good. And then you had the Mikel Arteta comments of him coming out and saying, well, you know, we're playing against the best attack in the league. Now, let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think this is Mikel Arteta on the wind-up? Because surely he can't look at Chelsea and, like, with a straight face say, yeah, we've just played the best attack in the league. Like, Chelsea are nowhere near the best attack in the league. If anything, they're very much struggling in those forward areas. So I was kind of definitely stunned or shocked or surprised when he come out with those comments, because I was thinking he must be watching an old Jose Mourinho team. He must still think Didier Drogba and Eden Hazard's out there, because he is not watching Nicholas Jackson, Pedro Neto and those other guys running around like headless chicken chasing the balls for 90 minutes, because like Chelsea's attack was very, very poor. So I was just surprised when he come out with those comments. Was he being serious? Was he on the wind up? I don't know, probably a bit of both maybe, because I just couldn't understand why he would say that. I think Chelsea attack's poor. I wouldn't swap it for Arsenal's attack, and Arsenal's attack is clearly struggling with personnel. I don't know, let me know your guys' thoughts on what Mikel Arteta had to say. And then the Martinelli impact, which is, you know, I'm seeing people online actually call Martinelli out and saying, oh, this guy lacks the end product, but I think people are reading him wrong. Like, don't focus on him not getting the goal. Just focus on the good that he's doing. Like, we haven't had that guy, the one to take the players on with the pace and the unpredictability. Yeah, he doesn't always finish it off, but the fact he gets himself in those moments, and he continuously does it as well, is enough danger for me, because eventually the shots will start going in and the assists will eventually start coming. So to have a player like Martinelli back in this squad, I was very shocked to see the kind of negativity floating out there surrounding Martinelli, because like with the games we got coming up, like the Real Madrid game, like you need players like Martinelli. And like that's how I was watching this game, if I'm being honest. It was like, not are we good enough to beat Chelsea, because look, at the minute it's quite clear that we're better than Chelsea. I'm now watching these games with like, right, if we was playing Real Madrid, how would we get on? And look, if we play like Real Madrid, against Real Madrid like we did against Chelsea, then we're going to struggle. Now, I think there are some, look, I've got 3 or 4 videos coming up about Real Madrid that I think going to produce some interesting talking points that I definitely want to get people's opinions on. But I'm not expecting the Arsenal versus Real Madrid game to be this thriller with Real Madrid scoring 4 goals, Arsenal scoring 4 goals. Our best chance against Real Madrid, unfortunately, might be a 1-0 win, a frustrating win, sitting back and defending. Now, no one wants to hear that. Would I do that? No. But I'm just telling you what I think Mikel Arteta's going to do. He's going to rely on what has got him through most of the last 2 seasons, which is a strong defence. Mikel Arteta's greatest weapon is Arsenal's defence, so there's no way that he doesn't use that against Real Madrid. Now, you do have to be careful, because there's some players that Real Madrid have, of course, that can hurt you. So there are some nuances that we need to discuss. But yeah, that performance against Chelsea maybe will be a similar type of performance to what we see against Real Madrid. But for now, it was a good win. Look, the title is done. I don't need to try and convince you guys that Arsenal are still in this title race. We're 12 points behind Liverpool with 9 games to go. Now, Liverpool didn't have a good week last week. They are out of the Champions League and they lost the cup final. So in terms of morale surrounding Liverpool, I'm sure it's poor. So if they're ever going to go on a losing run, it probably does happen now. But I do have to say, I don't really expect that. The fact they're out of the Champions League allows them to now fully focus on the Premier League. If they drop out of the Champions League, then lose the cup final, then go on a losing run in the Premier League, it will be the biggest capitulation in Premier League or English football history. Now, look, I'm ready for it. I am absolutely here for it. If it happens, I will celebrate it. But I do have to say, I don't really see that coming. But there is a small chance weirder things have happened. But look, I'm not going to put all my eggs in the basket that Liverpool are going to start losing games. Then all of a sudden, Arsenal are back in the title race. But our season now will be defined by what we do in the Champions League. We need to continue winning in the Premier League because it's important that we still get top 4. It's important that we don't get dragged into a top 4 race. That would be the worst case scenario if you're battling in the Champions League and then you start losing Premier League games as well. Then you get sucked into the top 4 battle and then that will hinder your progress in the Champions League. We got 2 games in the Premier League and then we move on to them games against Real Madrid, and that's where I'm fully focusing. Just beat Fulham, beat Everton, and then just fully focus on those Real Madrid games. Now, I've got a video coming up tomorrow that actually leaves me slightly more optimistic for those Real Madrid games. I think the fixture list is very kind to Arsenal, all of which we will speak about in tomorrow's video. But let me know your thoughts on not only everything you've heard in this video, but the game against Chelsea yesterday. What was your thoughts? Who was your man of the match? I'm hearing people say Mikel Merino. I'm hearing people say Declan Rice. Look, for me, I'm probably going to give it to a guy that I don't think I've actually given a man of the match award to before, and that's Jurriën Timber. I thought he was solid enough in that game. I think he offered Arsenal so much, not only defensively, but going forward as well. And all in all, I just think it was a good performance. Look, I can't wait to have Ben White back on that right-hand side. I hope over this international break he can get himself up to a fitness level where we start integrating him back into the first team. But then that leaves you with a question, because Timber's quite clearly a good player. Do you then move Timber back over to the left-hand side where we saw it last season? You had Ben White, Jurriën Timber on the left, and then the 2 centre-backs. Like, it's difficult to take Miles Lewis-Skelly out of this team. And then you got Calafiori in behind. Look, these are good problems to have as a manager. You always want to have these good players available. But it's definitely something Arsenal need to think about, because when Ben White's back at full fitness, in my mind, there's no doubt that he slots straight back into the first team. And then that leaves you with a question, surrounding the other guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favor, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.